Hello, my name is Jennifer Ross, I am an acupuncturist in Oakland, California, and I am here to do a little talk on acupressure for computer users. We're going to focus on our eyes and eye strain, but we're also going to do a little warm up for our hands and our shoulders. This class is donation based and it is in support of the Good Rural, a nonprofit that advocates for more resources for rural and disenfranchised communities. You can donate on their website at thegoodrural.org or on their Facebook page. So first we're going to start with a little warm up. And I recommend this warm up anytime you're going to get on the computer. And if you ask any athlete who is about to spend 8 hours doing their sport, they would never start without a warm up because they would immediately injure themselves. And it's the same thing for the computer. We spend 8 hours on the computer in a very rigid pose, and our fingers are making these tiny, tiny movements that they're not built to make. So we need to get our joints lubricated. We need to get energy flowing through our body before we start doing this. And when we do this, we decrease the risk of these repetitive strain injuries. So let's start with that. I'm gonna move my chair a little bit and stand up, and I invite you to stand up with me. So first, there we go, you can see me. We're just gonna start with a couple minutes of just jogging in place. You don't need to move your feet very much, just barely take them off the floor and shake the rest of your body. You need to shake your elbows, let your hands go real loose, go around the room a little bit, come backwards and forwards. We want to do this for 2 minutes. So let's do it for 2 minutes. I started to have hand problems doing a bunch of massage and a lot of trigger point acupuncture, where I have to put a lot of pressure on my thumb. And I remembered, oh, I'm not warming up. And once I started doing this, in about a week, that thumb pressure went away. Thumb pain, wrist pain went away. And we don't have to do it for very long, these things. You spend 5-10 minutes before you go to work. You're going to really greatly reduce the risk of getting carpal tunnel, elbow pain, forearm pain. Keep doing the little running, but now we're going to change what we do with our hands. So we're going to open and close them, just like this. And just kind of flick them. Run around the space. And ideally, you do this flicking like 100 times. So that was about 10. If we get about 90 more in, that'll be about our 2 minute, 3 minute run. You can also go for like a little half an hour run, just barely lifting your feet. You need to warm up before you do a real run too. So this is not go out and take a jog. This is go warm up, look a little silly for all the people around you, barely pick your feet up off the ground, and flick open and close your hands. We're gonna do this for like just another little minute. You might feel a little soreness in your forearms, and that's okay. You can just do it a little lighter. You don't have to do it really intense. But that soreness is kind of good because when we stop, you're going to have chi running through that arm. All right, there we go. Now just stop. You can kind of feel some little tingling in your hands, maybe a little warmth in your forearms. Take a couple breaths, do a little shaking here. And now we're going to go to our wrists. And we're just going to roll our wrists about 30 times each, sway. 10. And kind of do your shoulders at the same time if you want to multitask. You might hear a little clicking, popping. And same thing here. We're not trying to super extend. We're just trying to get our joints lubricated. Now let's go in the other direction about 30 times. 7, 8, 9, 10. Nine, 10. All right, there we go. And now we're going to go for our fingers. So we're going to start with them kind of in a little ball. I'm going to open them one at a time and kind of rotate them as you do it. And now let's close them up all together. The rotation is a little bit extra. This could be a little challenging to first start, but just open one finger at a time, close them all together, one at a time. Now, if you want to get a little extra with it, you can rotate all the way around. And as you close, rotate it up. Go thumb out. And you can be creative with it. We're just getting some lubrication now all the way up the channels. We've got 3 inner arm channels and 3 outer arm channels. We want them all open and flowing. And you'll feel a difference. All right, let's get a couple more of these. Same thing, 30 times in and out. 3 is kind of a magic number in Chinese medicine, so it's arbitrary, but all right, now let's shake out a little bit. And you can kind of feel now some of the energy moving through your fingers. Now let's get our elbows. So we're just rotating them nice and gently. You don't have to put any force into it. It's just the movement. And you can let your hands rotate as you do it. We're going to do the same thing 30 times. Try not to have your shoulders scrunched up here when you're doing it. That defeats some purpose. We want to bring them down. Hair out of my face. Let's go for 30. $20. You see, I'm not kind of going like this. I'm kind of just I'm letting my hands rotate with it. And that's the extra. You don't have to, but if you're feeling it, do it. Now we're going to go around this other way. And if you kind of pay attention, if you feel any tension forming in your shoulders, upper back, it kind of shows you where your troubled spots are. Breathe into it. Don't stop. Don't hunch it. Feel it and breathe into it. See if you can relax it as you breathe and as you move. Try to have your neck tucked while you're doing it. You don't want to be jutting your neck forward. It's another computer pathology, driver pathology. All right, now let's move into our shoulders. Let's just go one at a time here. Kind of feel it massage between your shoulder blades. You can kind of let your hands get into it a little bit if you want. Now switch directions, might feel a little bit of pops. Same thing, kind of try to keep your chin tucked. Right now we're going to do some, as you're doing it, you kind of want to let your neck come forward and back. And you can even let your spine, what's the word for that? It's not swivel. Undulate. Do the other side. I'm feeling little crackles in my collarbone as I do it. And now we're gonna just shake it out a little bit. Just let them drop up to your ears and let it drop. Up to your ears and let it drop. Let's get a little neck rolling, not big, huge. We're not trying to do a bunch of stretching here. We're just trying to lubricate the joints. So if you're feeling a lot of stretch in your upper traps, go smaller. We just want to lubricate this joint. We want to get little movements in here. Let's go 5 more on this side. 3, 4. Now let's change directions. Warming up is not stretching. All right, now let's just go back and forth here. So, again, don't hurt yourself with this, just easy. All right, now we're warm. Now you can start working on a computer. You can feel it. You can feel openness in your limbs and your joints. Starting anything cold is just a recipe for disaster. All right, so now we are going to do some acupressure around our eyes. I need a barrette. Okay. So there are all these little points around our eyes where nerves come out of our face or of our skull, our brain. Nerves come out of our brain area and they innervate our eyes, they innervate our face, and these nerves can get strained by looking at a computer screen, phone screen, even just reading. They have children in China do these exercises before school. So we're going to find all of these little points. They're also acupuncture points. So this one is called urinary bladder 1. The urinary bladder channel goes from your eyes over your head, down back of your spine, down your glutes, the back of your legs, all the way to your little toe. So this is the beginning of that huge channel. So you're going to feel anyway, in your eye, just in the corner here, put your finger, you're going to find a little hole. If you kind of like, you don't have to be super hard with it, but be firm. And if you kind of just move around a little bit, you'll feel a little hole. And if you press into that little hole, you'll feel it's tender. So again, we're not trying to damage anything, but we want to put some gentle but firm pressure. So let's go on both sides of the eyes here. Let's find the one on this side too. So you've got your corner of your eye right here, and it's just above it. So you've almost got your finger on the inside of your eyeball. Not almost, you do. And you're just gonna push on that. You can put pressure in, you can do a little rotation. It is a little awkward, but it feels quite good. And then let go when it doesn't feel quite good, and then go back in for a couple seconds and come back out. And you can do this kind of in and out for up to 3 minutes. Just kind of hold it for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let go. Go back in. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's our first point. Now we're going to move up a little bit to just below the eyebrow, that inner corner of the eyebrow. And you're going to feel another little hole. So I'm on the inside of the eye here. Right at the brow bone, right at the beginning of the brow bone there. And this one doesn't tend to be as tender, but you'll feel it, it's tender. And we're gonna do that same thing. Give it a little push. You can rotate a little bit. You wanna rotate in both directions if that's what you're doing. Even it out. Rotating in one direction does something to the channel, while rotating in the other does an opposite thing to it. So we want to be even. So either just pressure or gentle rotation in both directions. Now let's move to the next spot. So if you go along your eyebrow or that brow bone, this one's a little harder to feel, but it's there. There's another little hole. So we're just looking for all these little holes where nerves come out. Where is it? And even if you're just going like this along your brow bone, you're still getting it. There it is. It's kind of close to the other one, and it's underneath here. Well, so that same thing. Let's just give it a little pressure. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Now we're going to move along to the outside of our brow, and you're going to feel that little indentation in our temple where those bones kind of change here. We go from the frontal bone to the temporal. And you can just do, everyone knows this instinctively. We're just going to go, there's a couple points in here going from the end of the eyebrow and right here at the corner. And so let's just get all of it. Same thing. We want to kind of go in both directions. This can be really tender. So don't hurt yourself. All right. Now we're going to move to underneath the eyes. Now this bone here, there's a hole directly under the center of your eyeball. This is the beginning of the stomach channel. And the stomach channel runs down your face, down your abdomen, down the front of your thighs, front of your shin, down to your second toe. And this one carries a lot of chi, a lot of blood. And we're stimulating the whole thing by starting at the beginning of the channel. Right there. Now we're going to go down a little bit further. There's more holes here, and you can go to the end of that cheekbone, kind of feel where it gets sharp. And you can give that a little, the end of that bone, a little touch. All right, now we're going to go along that whole area we just went, but we're going to use this part of the thumb, and this corresponds to the eye also. So without poking your eyeballs out, let's start at that inner corner of the eye where you were right here. Let's put that part of your thumb there and give it a little pressure. And then we're going to go around the whole brow bone to the temple with that part of your thumb. So we'll do this like 10 times. I want to remind you all, if you're enjoying this or if you're not, send a donation to support the good rural. With this money, they are going to expand business workshops and technical training offerings for the community. They are going to pay for GED tests for the community, and they are also going to expand STEM field trips and provide STEM block parties for underserved communities. So all of this, they're trying to raise $10,000. They will raise $10,000, and we appreciate your help. All right, so now that and try not to strain your shoulders too much. I notice myself going like this to do it. You don't have to. It's totally unnecessary. Keep your shoulders down. And now let's go along the bottom. So it's like the very top of your cheekbone here. And you'll see it getting a little bit redder, and that's blood moving through the area. That's what we want to see. That's what we're trying to do, is just move blood through. All pain and disease in Chinese medicine is blood and energy and fluids that are not properly moving through. So they get stuck, they coagulate, they adhere to each other. They cause pain and disease. All right. Now for the very last part, we are going to, there's two very strong acupuncture points in the middle of our palms where heat comes out of. They actually call it 2 additional hearts. Here, here, and then there's 2 more on the bottom of your feet also. So we're going to rub this together. And you want to get really warm. A magic number for this is 66 times. Yep, now it's getting really warm. We're going to say that's 30. Keep it going. All right, 66. And now we're going to put this over your eyes. And kind of let that heat sink in. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on your eyeballs, but put that center of your palm right on them. Do it one more time. All right. When it's good and warm, put that heat into your eyeballs and let that heat sink in there. Relax your forehead. Now give a little gentle circles, a little massage. And then now you can kind of give your forehead a little massage, your head, and now tap the back of your head. Kind of give some stimulation to the back of your brain. There we go. Now you're ready to work. Spend some time on yourself before you go to work. It will pay back many, many fold. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I'm Jennifer Ross. You can find me on my website at rossacupuncture.com. Great. Yeah. Thanks. And go to the Good Rural site.